Hey guys, it's Jen. So I am out of town this week in Tennessee visiting my friend Tracy Claiborne. Some of you might know her. And while I'm gone, I decided that I would do some album shares. So I will not have a video. This is Thursday, so I will have my collection disconnection video on Saturday. But next week I will not have any of my regularly scheduled videos probably. So I wanted to do something fun, but something that, was manageable for me to be able to get done before I left. So this is the second scrapbook I ever made, and it is in a regular 3-ring binder that needs to be replaced, which I will eventually. But here we go. So keep in mind, I was in junior high making this. So you can see this is really torn up, and it's really probably too full. I had a best friend, and we scrapbooked a lot of the exact same pages, so I'll point those out. We took the same photos, we'd share photos, and then we'd scrapbook the exact same page. This isn't one of those, but we did. So you can see little die cuts, really simple cut corners. I tried to make it fun. This was a little skating trip I did with my youth group. It's another youth thing. We stuck our heads in mailboxes. We made this exactly the same and printed this off of the computer. So we'll see how it lasts, but it's been so many years. I think this was 9th grade, and so that's a long time ago. And it's lasted pretty well, so. We pretended to be dead on my bed. This was just like a little family trip, just a few hours south of where we live. My little sister in her swimming suit in the bathtub, and remember all these die cuts that were so awesome. I printed on it, which I thought was pretty cool, and the bubble background. You might recognize some of these papers. We had a group of friends that we always did everything with, and so there's lots of pictures of all of us together. Easter, these are nice Eastery colors. All of us. This is my brother and sister. I had gotten a camera for Christmas. That was the first page. I got a camera. And so all of these photos are now photos that I've taken myself. And previously I had scrapbooked photos that my parents had taken. So I will link to a video where I share that first scrapbook below. I made a page of all of the movies that we went to because we went a lot. We got these You've Got Mail, October Sky, Waterboy, Patch Adams, Jack Frost, Forces of Nature, Prince of Egypt. That's fun. This was just some awards that I got, and I stuck my grades in there. Look, I was a really good student. Sleepover Party. Do you remember these titles? I have so many of those. You'll see those show up again. And I cut out our shapes. And I decided that it was important for me to document like 7 pages of this little hike we took that is really literally right next to my house, and so I did a lot, but it was kind of fun. We called it Seven Falls. Now I know it's called Battle Creek Falls. And I thought that was a pretty little moth or butterfly or whatever. So lots and lots of photos of us. This is what I thought was important at the time, and so it's kind of fun to see that. This was an Oscars night that we had as a youth group. We all made movies and then dressed up and came and watched them. Lagoon, which is a theme park here in Utah, and this was 9th grade Lagoon Day. So see, these are some of the pages that we made exactly the same, and we drew this and scanned it into our computer and printed it out so that we could both use it. It's funny. Lots of printed titles. I always scrapbooked at her house, so we'd use her computer and just some printer paper and print it on. This was my cat that got hurt, and I thought it was so clever stacking up 3 mats on these. So this was a stencil, and I had to trace around every single letter, and then I matted it on another color and cut it out, and you can see that my fussy cutting skills, maybe you can't see very well, but they were not as good as they are now. I loved this page. So we had this really awesome bus driver that would take us to the junior high, and he gave us balloons on the last day of school, and we gave him a little present, and so I made a little scene with the bus, and this is all of us poking our heads out of the bus window, so that's really fun. And this is the last day of school. I had the best friends, guys, really. This was our bench that we always sat on. I can't wait for my daughter to look back at these photos and when she's in 7th grade and see how kind of nerdy I was or whatever. I was wearing this really hideous hat. I am not a hat person, so I should not have been wearing that. Playing with some K'NEX at my friend's grandma's house. This was a fish. Me and my friend gave each other fish for our birthdays one year, so I think her fish name was Maui and mine was Kona because we had big dreams of going to Hawaii. We had a friend that moved, so this was us saying goodbye to him. He had this really cool floor in his basement, carpeting that had like hopscotch on it. And him and my friend stole my camera and took weird selfies. So there was a such thing as selfies back then. Here's a bunch of us friends together. Picnic on the 4th of July. I did a lot of 4th of July pages. I loved this one where I made the flag and it was sideways, which was different for me. So these are all 8.5 by 11, obviously. Just bunches of pictures of me and my friends. This was for girls' camp. This is a youth camp. So there's lots of photos of us at camp. The great outdoors. You can see there's like little bits and pieces of fish flakes in here because I used to store these underneath a fish tank that we had and my daughter spilled a ton of fish food in there and I thought I got it all out, but obviously I didn't, so I gotta clean those out. This is more girls' camp. I loved this page at the time. It was so bright and fun. And I was really trying to practice my handwriting, so I was using that for titling. This is rappelling. I don't have a picture of me actually rappelling, but going down, and these are a bunch of my friends. More of girls' camp. I tried to match things to the photos a little bit. Not everything had a title. So these photos were fun for me to look back at recently because this is a trip we took to Oregon when I was in 9th grade, and we recently went back again, and so that was fun. So these are Multnomah Falls in Oregon. On the beach, the coast. Here's my little brother and sister. They look so small. Sea Lion Caves. This was the condo we stayed in. I thought that was cool because I had my own room and my own little deck, so that was the view off of my deck. And the Portland Temple that I took a picture of. That's the LDS temple. The sunset. So this is still Oregon. Crabbing. I love these photos and I love these pictures. And if you have watched, or if you're part of my class, Photo Triage Vacation Photos, we went crabbing in Oregon recently. And it is such a fun activity to do. And I'm impressed with my photo skills on these particular photos, but it was way, way fun. So I'm glad we got to do that again. Crater National Park, which is the most beautiful place. I want to go back again for sure. Llamas. My grandma lived in Oregon, and so there was a llama farm right next to her house. So you can see these are like little stickers, and I used a template to trace this, and I used 2 sheets of paper, and then I flipped the sides, so it's a little bit smaller than 8.5 by 11. You can see like there's a little border on the side because I cut it down and glued it. More llamas. This is at my grandma's house. My brother making faces because he's a punk. We went whitewater rafting down the Deschutes River. I actually have more photos of this, and you can see there's so many fish flakes. I gotta get those out of there. Piano lessons. So I took piano from my neighbor across the street for years and years. This was a birthday trip that I got to take with my friends for a weekend. We went to a condo. There's some more. Sidewalk chalk with me and my friend. Hideous family photos. This one, I loved this page at the time. So I took the inspiration from the paper and I made my own little Christmas balls for the title. So it says Merry Christmas, which is really hard to see because the letters are see-through and silver. But I copied what I saw in here and made these little balls myself. So that was fun. This is Y2K, guys. So I was pretty impressed with this whole 1999 changing to 2000. These were stencils that we traced and cut out. And turn of the century. And that is sparkling cider, don't worry. And this was just a church group. and ice skating and twirling. So I tried to make the font match the title, and same with the paper. Lots of blue. And I labeled everyone's names all the time because I was afraid I would forget them, and I'm glad I did that. I need to get back into that habit just a little bit more. So this is something I made myself. I looked at another paper and made it larger. So this is just strips of paper and dotted lines that I drew. Friends. I love all these circles. Ice skating. And I ripped all the edges. I thought that looked like snow. Donuts. Made my own donuts. So there was a lot of like making my own things to go with the theme. This one I cut out these little hearts to match the background. And this was my aunt. This is the next year's girls camp for my youth group. I loved these pages. I still do. They look cute still. That's more of camp. More of camp. And you can see I made my own embellishment to match, and I did my own title. I can see where I erased the pencil lines. Silly faces. So I liked cutting out circles. Those were fun. This was the Salt Lake Buzz. So this is a minor league baseball team in Salt Lake City. Now it's called the Bees, I think, but it used to be called the Buzz. So that's kind of cool that I have that. So lots of pictures of me and my friends at the Buzz game and on the train on the way home. And then, I don't know, these are random. I need to still put in my book, but these were like I started and never finished. Do you guys remember me saying that I got my sewing machine in high school or junior high? And that's the same sewing machine I have now. I don't really know how to use it very well, but it works for me. So anyway, that is my second scrapbook ever. So I hope that you enjoyed. If you have questions or comments, feel free to make fun of me below. But I think it's fun to look back, and I will never change these because I think that it's really indicative of who I was at the time and of the style at the time, which I think is fun. So thanks so much for watching. I'll be back with another video sharing another album soon.